Hola a todos and welcome to online class. Hoy vamos a practicar condiciones y emociones y el presente progresivo. Today we're going to look at two new uses of the verb estar, conditions and emotions, and the present progressive. So let's start with conditions and emotions. The first thing that we need to do is review the forms of the verb estar. This is one of our irregular verbs. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. And remember that some of these forms do have written accents. And then let's talk about two uses that we studied previously. The verb estar is used to describe the location of a person or thing. For example, ¿Dónde estás? Estoy en la clase. It is also used to describe health and well-being. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. And now for the two new uses, condiciones and emociones. If you look at the screen, you'll see the examples. El libro está abierto. In this case, we're describing the condition of the book. Ella está alegre, and here we're talking about an emotion. You'll notice in both cases we're using adjectives. So we need to review the concept of adjective agreement. In Spanish, we know that adjectives have different forms for masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. And so we need to make sure that the adjective agrees in gender and number with the noun that it describes. So for example, if an adjective ends in O, these are the possible endings. O, a, os, as. You can see in the examples here, Ana está contenta. Carlos está contento. Ana y Carlos están contentos. Adjectives that end in E also have possible endings, E and then ES. Ana está alegre. Carlos está alegre. Notice the masculine and feminine is the same, but then in the plural, Ana y Carlos están alegres. There is also a caso especial, feliz. When you make it plural, you change the Z to a C and you add ES. So for example, Ana está feliz. Carlos está feliz. Ana y Carlos están felices. Inténtelo. Now it's your chance to give it a try. ¿Cómo se dice? Marisol is sad. He is very nervous. Juan and Miguel are ready. The door is closed. They are in a good mood. You can pause the video here, figure out how you would say each sentence in Spanish, then go ahead and hit play and you'll see the answers. Respuestas, and here are the answers. Marisol está triste. Él está muy nervioso. Juan y Miguel están listos. La puerta está cerrada. Estamos de buen humor. And now for the second new use of estar, the present progressive. Here's an example of the present progressive. Ella está haciendo la tarea. And another example, estamos bailando. So you can see from these examples how we form the present progressive. First, we have a form of the verb estar, followed by a present participle form. And the present participle of a verb is formed by dropping the AR, ER, IR, and adding either ando or yendo. If it's an AR verb, you add ando. If it's an ER or IR verb, you add yendo. So if you can see here in the examples, hablando, comiendo. But of course, there are some verbs that do have irregular present participles. I like to divide them into two groups. The first group, Grupo Uno, I call the no yodeling group. And the reason I call it this is because you'll notice that we put in a Y where there would otherwise be an I, and it's simply because the pronunciation would be quite difficult if you didn't do that. So if you look on the screen, you'll see that it says leyendo rather than, and you can see the form there, and if you didn't put that Y in there, it would be sort of like yodeling because you'd have so many vowel sounds in a row, right? And so that's why I call this group no yodeling. And so you'll see that the I turns to a Y simply for the pronunciation's sake. The second group of irregular present participles are the IR stem changing verbs, and you can see them listed here, and they do have an irregular participle form, and so you can basically memorize them as they are, or you can kind of memorize the rule that you'll see here that E is changing to I. So it's not exactly the normal stem change, or that the O is changing to a U. And so again, it's not a normal stem change, but it is a rule that you can memorize that, the E is changing to I or the O is changing to U, or you can simply memorize the forms as they're listed here. So once you have the forms down, then the question is, ¿cuándo usamos el presente progresivo? So when do we use this new form? And basically it's used to emphasize that an action is in progress. So in other words, that the action is happening right now. So if you look at the examples on the screen, it's different from the regular present in this way. So if you look at estudio en la biblioteca versus estoy estudiando en la biblioteca, what's the difference? Estudio en la biblioteca can mean I study in the library, I am studying in the library, I do study in the library. Estoy estudiando en la biblioteca means I'm studying in the library right now. Emphasis on the action in progress. And the second example, ellos toman el sol versus ellos están tomando el sol. When you use the regular present tense, which is ellos toman el sol, it can mean they sunbathe, they are sunbathing, or they do sunbathe. In the present progressive example, ellos están tomando el sol, they are sunbathing right now. Emphasis on the right now in progress. Inténtalo. Now it's your chance to give it a try. ¿Cómo se dice? Marisol is eating right now. He is reading right now. They are sleeping right now. And we are working. You can pause the video here. Then go ahead and hit play once you've figured out how you think you would say these, and you'll see the answers. Respuestas, and here are the answers. Marisol está comiendo, because you're emphasizing right now in progress. Él está leyendo. Notice the irregular participle form with the Y. Ellos están durmiendo. Notice the irregular participle there as well. And the last example, trabajamos, because I didn't specify right now, so there's no emphasis on the action in progress. We can just use the regular present. Preguntas? If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always happy to help.